So, this is not based really too much on the fact. I just happen to really like military stuff and firearms. Quite a collector, but I'm not going to go too much of Spurg about it. I'm sure there's a million people Spurging. The newest Army contract pistol, the SIG p320 or 230 or whatever the number is. I'll put the actual link and name and number. But like everything else, guns are like cars now, is what I was trying to say. Is they've given up on the idea of giving anything a name. It's just a clusterfuck of letters and numbers. I don't like. I mean, I guess you can kind of give BMW a pass, except for the clusterfucks of like 4 Series and this, that, and the other. They've always done that, but Mercedes has always done a numeral system. But it seems like everybody else is dropping the ball with this. And just, piling numbers on things. You're going to buy a Ford 36, and you're just supposed to know what that is, which is different than a Toyota 36, of course. One means how many pistons the engine has, the other is the doors, and just, you got to know. Okay, I'm done chimping out about that. What is happening right now, obviously, is they failed their drop safe tests. There's a couple police departments that are dropping them. They're offering free upgrades on their trigger. Not that you need them, but it's not going to the Army contract pistol either. So it's pretty clear that these things are not great, and it's a shame because SIG normally does a pretty good job. I was a short-time owner of a 229 and a 220, but that's all different, other stories. I wasn't dissatisfied with them. I had my own reasons, but I've not been very thrilled with the SP series, but these ones are Ps. And I'm trying not to Spurg too much. This actually is going to an economic base. Is with something like this, they're doing damage control, understandably, and they're offering these trigger updates, which are not going to the military contract. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is the factor, and I'm going to get theoretical, hypothetical, and just kind of muse out some ideas. I'm not making any suggestions about this, so before anybody comes and calls me a crazed communist or this, that, or the other, just want to say, I'm kind of brainstorming through these. Well, obviously, you're going to take a huge loss when stuff like this happens. You have to eat it. There's a whole bunch of different things. So I'm wondering what we could do to adjust wastage in manufacturing and upgrades. If you run a restaurant and you burn a pizza, you throw that whole pizza out. You're fucked. You can write that off. And there is, obviously, for corporations, there's been recalls, things like that. A lot of companies really got burned recently with the Takata airbags, that whole scandal, which I think is one of the highest ever payouts for recalls ever. It really burned a lot of people. But I was wondering what theories, and as I said, I really haven't done any math on this, so these are just spitballing some ideas of, what can we do to try to make it where manufacturers are going to be more willing to own up to their flaws. This is, as I said, the contract pistol is not going to get this upgrade, which, if you think about who probably needs a drop-safe pistol more than anybody else, probably somebody serving. You can make arguments about maybe police officers are going to need it more, but regardless, a duty weapon is probably going to have a harder life, larger neglect, this, that, the other. So these are the guys who probably need it and they're not getting it. And we can always say about cost-cutting, this, that, but what I'm trying to think about is how or what we should offer or suggest or build into the model of preventing things like this, and having a company not want to damage control it, spuddle it down, push it off, or even cover up the issue. If it's an ethical thing, if you want to take that angle of just saying, let's just own up, our name is worth it. We have this contract which can make us all this money, this, that, the other, which, you could say some companies would do, some companies won't do. Obviously, what kind of change in the tax structure do we want to see, maybe, about trying to alter this, to say where it's you know what, you can write off half of what it's going to cost because you presented a product that wasn't safe or right or proper, so you can take this lossage. As I went back to the pizza thing, you're out. I don't know what the profit margin is for every pizza place, but let's just say roughly make $5. The ingredients, you sell the pizza for $12. You can write off a couple pizzas and still break even. over a day, but there would obviously be some sort of hard limit. If you burn 12 pizzas, you're going to lose money straight out, and I don't think it should be everybody else's issue to solve that. If you burn one, well, that sucks. It's part of the deal. If it goes stale, things like that. But that's something in the restaurant industry. They're very good about their lossage of wastage. A friend who's been an accountant for a restaurant, so I've learned about how much you can really burn and how much turnover there is. So that's natural. So I'm trying to think of like what in a manufacturing sense do we need. If the tax structure is the way to approach it, if it should be on the supplier side, the buyer side more so. Sorry, that if there's something like this, you have a better clause to walk instantly. So it's going to behoove the company to eat whatever it causes this situation to fix it, or what we really want to do with this. You can say how many people are going to boycott SIG after this, but I don't know. And obviously, if you read anything online, you probably know that people like to blow off steam and exaggerate. I'm sure people are laughing, and we're all having some good fun at SIG's expense, since they are higher end and more expensive firearms. And fun fact, California is very, very picky about their firearms, as most people know. Makarov, I've shown in another video, as a beer opener. That will actually pass a California drop test. It does not have a drop safety built into it. So, something that was built by drunken, illiterate slave labor has trumped SIG. Haha. But no, as I'm saying this, obviously, people just spew off online. I don't know how many people are going to sell their SIGs or boycott the arms manufacturers. So I guess what I'm trying to think about a little bit is what we can do to prevent this, given more time for R&D, or what we could do to also remedy these things that do go through, assuming that they did their due diligence and they threw this thing on the ground 1,000 times, and somebody found 1,001 ways to break it, So, I don't know, I just thought I'd do a little musing video, a little something different, something talking about hobbies of mine, as well as something a little economic based. So if anybody does have any thoughts, as I said, this is just kind of brainstorming it. I'm not really sure. I haven't done any of the math to look through like what would really be the most effective, or what's probably the most morally correct or smartest or most efficient way. So just chime in with some ideas and have some fun with it. You guys have a good one.